Good evening. Looks like the first thing we've got is a bot. Let's just click that button. Goodbye, bot. Hello, Herbert, Professor Tankbutt Erpaderp. Oh no, is this still the Jagdpanzer for LCC? No, this is the Jagdpanzer for, I don't know, someone else. Hey, Trekan, silly, how you doing? And Ildiko Kovacs? I can't read your name, sorry. On YouTube. How are you doing? Look at this. It's almost looking like what it's meant to look like. And I've been looking at the instructions. There's a lot of bits here that I'm just going to omit because internal detail, which I don't need. But we do need some of it to hold the gun on. We don't want the gun to just be like flopped over the front of the hull. Hey, the big boy, Deathlike Coast. I hope you're all well. We need the E-sprue, which I think I've prepared. Yep, this is the E-sprue. Just a matter of finding the correct parts while ignoring the parts we don't need. E48 and E49 we want. Probably won't really need to do much cleanup on them. We need the bit that holds the gun on the inside of the tank and the gun sight that pops out of the roof. This... $15,000 years. I believe you. Everybody likes bots. Wink. We need this bit. Hopefully that's not part I need that I'm about to clip off. Doesn't look like it. Get clipped, nerd. Okay, so this should go onto this. I can just sort of place it together. That'll be easy. And these two go something like this. Except with that other bit in the middle. And then we'll need to glue the gun sight on here. That should be enough, plus this bit, to hold the whole lot together. Not sure that other bots like bots. They might. Maybe they've got like a whole bot friendship union or something. That's a thing, why not? Let's clean these bits up as far as I feel like is necessary. That tab probably doesn't need to be there. This is just going to be the inner part. I think that's meant to be rounded. That may possibly interfere with the front bit. We'll just knob. Just clip that nubbin off. Taking a shit and watching Herbert. Best moments in life are priceless. Well, I mean, taking a shit's pretty good. This is only the second border kit that I've built, I think. But it's been pretty good. There's been some minor issues with bits not correctly fitting. But overall, it's been pretty decent. Got to get rid of these little doovers in here because I think they'll interfere with stuff. Quite rude of them, really. And now, I need a drink. And make sure all of this is correctly focused and whatnot. May the glue god help us in our bonding of the plastic. Praise the glue god. Okay, we've got that. There's a whole breech assembly and stuff that's meant to go on the back of that, but we won't be doing that. Excuse me. And this has this has a keying so that it goes on properly. Like that. And I assume that'll stick out the front somewhere. We didn't get the hole off the sprue yet. How would one pray to the glue god? Sacrificing a bottle to gain its favor? I don't know. I've always just assumed that using the glue is enough. And I haven't been smote to the ground. Not yet, anyway. That's the wrong way up. Goes like that. I don't know how important it is to have this movable in here, but you can make it movable. It's a fairly tight fit, so that's probably good. I'm hoping that little nubbin I've just spotted there is a guide nubbin, because it looks like one. And there, that should be able to elevate and depress, and then when it's inside the hull, you'll be able to wiggle around like that too. Hello from a very cold Canada. Hey Jeremy Brooks, how you doing? I am jealous. It's not that hot here currently, it's 24 degrees according to my computer. But it's much warmer in here. Because I foolishly left the air conditioner off earlier while I was not here. Spilling the glue is a sin, I would say. Okay, we got that. How much of the little detail-y bit do we have to put on is my question. Looks like 2 bits at least. Which are on this sprue, presumably. 14. 33 and 48. Did I just clip that bit off, or is it missing? Got part 14. Poor old Herbert is confused once again. Oh, it's on the D sprue. That's why I can't find it. Now I've got to find the D sprue. Probably need this one at some point. The D. Any more D bits we'll need? Doesn't look like it. D sprue finding music. Part 48 should have been the gun because it's a Jagdpanzer IV L48. That's how things work. It is how things work. That's why this kit is bad, because it doesn't work that way. They've gone off and done it their own way. Don't probably really need to clean this up too much. So that is not part of the part. That's a nubbin. And we know what happens to nubbins. Here's another nobbin. And this is like a face rest and the eyepiece. Probably won't be visible once the model is together. Nobbins don't go to Stovo Corps. They are without honor. Except for the select few good nobbins. Nobbins generally go to Grey Thor. I think that's the Klingon hell. And why not just have the glue god religion just co-opt Klingon religion? Okay, I think that's where that goes, but it doesn't seem to go all the way in that hole. Maybe with a bit of keying it will. Not keying, glue. There doesn't seem to be keying to give it any correct angle for this part. Press record, or nothing will be recorded, Herbert. It's meant to be like that. I think it's meant to be like that. Probably would have made sense to glue those two bits together first. This is meant to go on somewhere. That seems reasonable. Looks terrible how it's dangling down at an angle like that, though. That's going to be very fragile. Almost certainly easy to break. That was a bad idea. I think the main thing is having the periscope level with this bit, so it will probably be straight when it pops out the top of the hull. Is that ammo glue you're using? No. It's SMS glue. Which is probably almost exactly the same. That seems to be all we need for the gun, for the internal parts of the gun. Unless, for whatever reason, you want to model an entire, pretty fiddly looking gun breech and such. I do not wish to do that because it will be not visible. Yeah, SMS is an Australian brand. I think it's a relatively new company too. You can't tell because they're rusty and small, but the clippers are also from SMS. We also want this bit. OB3. Some E-sprue bits. That goes on the underside, and apparently we need E2 for the outside. Which has a better looking, or has less of a mold line down the front of it, which is nice. You can make the aiming device visible by modeling the hatches open. Nope, can't be done. Simply against the laws of physics, I'm afraid. Now we get the joy of cleaning this up while the glue bonds, I guess, on the other bits. How dare you stick in the jaws of my clippers? And this bit goes on the outside. That couldn't be correct. That goes on the inside. Well, there's bits of stuff to stop it. Not sure how necessary that actually is, but it's what they want. And there's a couple of little nubs that go in there. Not sure what they are, or if it's even necessary. Gun ports, I would assume. But there are covers that go on the outside. And I'm assuming the covers slide down if you want them open. I don't believe that I do. Perfect Japanese music for a German vehicle. I mean, why not? Just looking at the instructions, getting further confused. I'm getting too far ahead of myself, though. Why be confused now when we can be confused later? I don't see how necessary it is to have this bit, but it probably helps with this bit somehow. Just can't hold on to anything. Confused? Mm-hmm. Sometimes old Herbert gets confused because old Herbert. Maybe this is meant to clip together through the... It won't go together because there's a nubbin in the way. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out eventually. At least I think I will. Got it. Fucking carpet monster. Try to eat my parts. This is awkward to hold to trim bits off. No carpet monster Pearl Harbor for a good old Herbert. Okay, that seems like it should just go together like that. Then can we just drop it into the hole? Without the inside bit? Or do we have to... Grumble. Okay. Looks like there's a little bit of crud in there. What I want to know is if it can just go in as one piece, or I have to sandwich it. This is going to be kind of fiddly. And it might be easiest if I can actually glue the outer part on. But it doesn't have anything to position it. Unless you've got the internal part on. Get that smoother with these, maybe. Hopefully that wasn't an important knob, because it didn't look like an important knob. Gog. That's probably neat enough. It's gonna sit on there. Probably pretty good. Don't know if that needs to be pressed down at the end or not, but we're not at that point yet. I think I'd rather not use a hot glue gun. I feel like I've never used a hot glue gun and not burned myself with it. So it's probably some sort of law that you're required to burn your fingers when using a hot glue gun. Okay. Do we need this internal flat bit? Because I could just leave it off if that's easier. Does it provide anything other than a little bit of thickness on the inside here? It does, you can see that, but there'll be a little cover over that. I've determined that it is surplus to requirements, which is probably going to enrage somebody, but they can just shut up. It's easy as that. I'm going to assume this mold line is not actually on the real thing. And if it is, too friggin' bad. Think it might be since the whole thing was a cast piece. Well, I don't give even half a shit. I think I did look for photos when I did the what's in the box video. It's big enough that those are probably way overscaled for a real mold line anyway, and we can just say that no good punk kids came and stole it. Yeah. As long as you're not omitting the sauerkraut boxes, everything is fine. That's fair. The sauerkraut boxes are important. Okay, I think it would be stupid to glue these together without the gun in the middle. So I'm not going to do that. But I think... you know, it might be kind of difficult with the gun in place. It just doesn't seem to want to fit. Possibly. No, probably not. I was thinking maybe I could glue this outer part on, then pull this off, and it will be in the right position, and then I could sandwich the gun in there, but I might just have to do it the obnoxious way. There is meant to be a pin that goes in the top, but it doesn't say to put that in until later. So I'm going to assume it's decorative. I mean, shaving off the... what was a pretty big mold line is one thing. I'm sure the thing people will be all pissy about is not building the entire gun breech. How much sauerkraut could fit in the Jagdpanzer? A lot. Hey, Mr. Bunk, how you doing? YouTube chat is on. That's gonna go together like that. And if we're careful, we can leave it so it wiggles. Ooh, wiggly, 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 wiggly. Probably should have videoed putting that all together, really. It's okay, I can do that. Never mind, you're in Twitch chat now. Twitch chat is the better chat, in my opinion. At least in Twitch chat, a little bit of the message isn't covered by that stupid heart thingy. It's not very easy to put this together to show the camera, but I think the camera gets it. I think it understands. Crews of this vehicle are lucky ones because it's a Jagdpanzer. Jagd equals hunting, so they can hunt down sauerkraut trees whenever they want. That's a historical fact. Probably everybody knows it, though. You wouldn't just make that up. I'm going to assume that's enough to hold it together. And you know what they say about assuming? It's A-okay. That's a thumbs up. Do I need any other parts? And have I cleaned this up adequately? Maybe. Maybe I have. No, I haven't. There's some flash at the rear. Also, these nubbins here. I'm not sure if those will interfere with the roof or not. I'd imagine not. That's probably fine. That's going to be covered by the little plate anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect. Still have an old playlist of songs you picked from my streams back before the Twitch copyright police banned fun. I mean, back then I could have been in trouble for copyright too. I think most of those songs are still in a playlist that I've got. Seems to sit high on this side. We just do that. That ought to fix the little SLB. I can't quite tell if it's being held up at the end by a bit underneath it or what. I think it is. How about we just get real violent with it? That wasn't very violent, was it? Making sauerkraut jokes about sauerkraut will be fined in Germany. Using the hardest punishment we have. No sauerkraut for you anymore. That's pretty rough. Looking at these nubbins, maybe they won't interfere with the roof, but kind of looks like the roof will sit outside the thing. Excuse me. What a disgusting pig. You can spend the strange things you can spend stream points on. They mostly do sensible things. Like, I can't even find the button. Mostly they do sensible things like, where's the good one that I'm trying to think of? This one. They do a lot of sensible things.
What's your drink of choice? Piss. I was going to say the same thing. It's piss. Oh. With piss in it. Oh.
Oh. I was going to cut this down even more. That's probably going to solve all my problems.
What the fuck?
Exactly. What do you know? It does seem to have solved the problem. The horrible goose has returned. I'm still sad that we couldn't play Goose Game on stream, Barnaby and I, because we were too stupid to figure out the controls. Looking very Jagdpanzerish now. It's getting there. How you doing, Matthew Cast? I think that's probably going to work pretty well. I've done a little bit of damage there. That's my problem. Old Herbert did this. The cold summer in Victoria. I assume...
Too tired to piss, too full of piss to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. I assume Australia and Victoria, and not Victoria, BC, which would actually be cold, but not summer. Okay. How do we get this in without causing damage? We should probably video it so we only have to do it once. That would be smart. This music seems pretty correct for what I'm doing.
Wrong. Double wrong,
Aw.
stupid. Oh, total fuck up. Great. You're really... Oh, wow.
That was a pretty perfectly done, whatever those things are called. Blurps. So wrong. What an idiot. It's a very tiny little bit of nubbinry on top of the site. That was bugging me. It's probably not really nubbinry, it's just a bit of plastic
That's
from
what she
when
said.
That is what she said. I heard her. She won't shut up about it. The thing to do would probably be glue that big lumpy boy on now. more glue so that it actually runs down the part. I would prefer not to actually glue the middle bit into place at this point. Commentary interludes is what makes the live stream covered by a heart. If I pop open the actual thing, I can see that better. What makes the live stream? I didn't need to do that. The heart didn't cover the entire word. I do wish YouTube didn't have live streaming as like a second thought. I want some better tools for YouTube so it's on par with Twitch. Okay, that looks Back to the Future. Legally distinct Back to the Future. Could always use TikTok too. I think because of TikTok being vertical, it would require some sort of effort on my part rather than just simulcasting the same thing to Twitch and YouTube. But I have thought about it. My machine is not quite powerful enough to handle all the kajiggery that would be required for two separate outputs, I think. I can't tell, but I think I'm looking at drilling instructions. Doesn't say, but there's like a little red dot there. Maybe if I could understand, I'm assuming that's Japanese. It does say a millimeter, which I'm assuming is drill bit size. But what are they for? They've got question marks, so they're options. I don't want to drill holes and then realize I didn't need to. Excuse me. Reject shop version of Back to the Future. Red dot means remove, and border is fiercely Chinese. Well, I can't tell. I don't know how to read either language. I don't know why they would want something removed from the inside of the hull, though. And those are definitely little recesses for drilling. What goes here? Could be mounts for the spare road wheels. Those would go there on the version I'm not doing. So maybe I don't need to drill. What goes on the version that I am doing? Looks like nothing. That's a bit confusing. I've been doing TikTok for well over a year. There's plenty of dorks like me on there. It's always weird when someone's like, I hate TikTok. Because they assume it's just for, like, kids doing dances or whatever. Sure, there is a ton of trash on there, but, like, it's like anything. You curate your, following thing, and somehow it's better if you don't just watch what it recommends. Herbert's avatar in Ranch Sim is quite sexy, and a bit of a hillbilly serial killer. Hey, he hasn't serial killed anybody, unless you count, like, chickens and pigs and goats. I'm wondering if it's a stupid idea to glue the hole on now. Could be. Doesn't say to do it in the instructions. And there is a bit that goes under here that I would be omitting if I did that, if I did that now. Maybe I won't do that. I think I've got all of that except the rear wall there ready. I'll put the rear wall on even though it's skipping forward in the instructions. That's on the D sprue. There's a lot of good scale modeling TikToks I see. I don't know if I've specifically seen yours, Matthew Cast, but there's a lot of good ones on there. Obviously, it's not really an in-depth format, because TikTok is for short attention spans. Hey, Richard Tomlin. I am not doing the Zimmerit. Though I do appreciate that they included both the two-part epoxy and a tool to do it. Personally dislike TikTok because you consider it to be Chinese spyware. Yeah, but all social media is somebody's spyware. They're all doing the same thing. I'm going to cut the roof out at this point as well, because I want to be sure the little nubbins on the inside of that hull part won't interfere with it. You can buy Zimmerit decals that make the whole experience easier. Yeah, but I don't really like the look of Zimmerit in the first place. So I usually won't put it on if I get a choice. Yeah, that's gonna work, he says surprisedly. Needs cleanup, but it's pretty good. Can't tell where exactly the nubbins are. Except on the top here. That looks reasonable. Don't know if that's meant to go all the way in that little slit there. The tricky bit is going to be to get it into place to see if it fits properly without it just falling out. I think that's probably fine. I guess you're right there, Bunk, sort of, but I don't believe that there's that much of a difference. The American and British and any other countries' corporations are just as likely to sell your information or whatever to the Chinese. If it benefits them, they'll get it either way. Okay, this side, it's a little... sits too low. That's not cool, man. I don't know how I can fix that, really. Other than with probably a little bit of force. Everyone's favorite. What percentage of tanks... That is what she said, probably. What percentage of tanks use the Zimmerit? I have no idea. Probably most of it from that time period, like Matthew Cast says. I think if I do glue that on, it'll be fine, and if it's not, I'll just sand it. This music sounds like something bad is going to happen. Just put it on there and then glue it. It'll probably work better. It's not easy to see on camera, but I can use the... I can't put the entire thing flat on the desk to press, to hold it into place so it's flat, but it seems to be working, I hope. I think they found out pretty quickly that Zimmerit isn't effective because they barely came across a Soviet boy with a magnetic mine, because only the Germans were using the magnetic mines, I think. Right as your phone starts playing Gwar. Gwar definitely means something bad is going to happen. It'll be caused by Gwar. I won't say what it is they're going to do to your pathetic human body, but you won't enjoy it. Some panthers with the little squares. What do they call that? Is that the waffle? Do they call that waffle, or am I imagining it? Hey, Monol, I have embraced the dual stream because they made it so there was no effort for me to do it and no penalty for me to do it. though, actually. YouTube streams are kind of annoying because you have to have a different link every time, and you have to replace the link for the chat in OBS every time. I think that's all right. That'll just mean I'll just have to apply a little pressure. And there will be probably a gap at the ends there, but I am going to put the side skirts on, so probably won't be so visible. I think that's reasonable. It wants me to put all the details onto the roof before putting it onto the hull, and I'm not sure that's a good idea. Real-life German camo was brush painted by young men whose only experience in painting was their front fence, so quality wasn't high. Yeah. Applying Zimmerit stopped at the end of 1944 because the fear spread that Zimmerit would make the penetration of the armor easier. It turns out it wasn't right, but in 1945 things in German production were so chaotic that applying Zimmerit never started again. I just figured it was because they realized they were the only ones using magnetic mines, but what would I know? The answer is very little. I did it because it was just so easy. Bow before my power. Lord Herbert, the technically proficient. Don't know who that is. It's a bit rough, but that's not going to impede installation. However, I was right to be concerned about these little nubs on the inside. Little bastards. Herbert Erpaderp, noted nub racist, apparently. That's a bit awkward to hold. I've just noticed, excuse me, I've just noticed that there's photo etch for the roof. That's a bit of a shame. That fits way better. It's a knob on the back there, but like any problem, we can whip out a knife and solve it. That's not true. We can't solve everything with knives. Maybe... Well, the only internal... There is a couple of internal details, but the only ones that I can see mattering to me are the vision devices. There's also latches... Not latches, mechanisms for the hatches, which, because mine will be modeled shut, I do not need. The sight cover plate is photo etch, right? No, I think it's the sight covers for the vision devices, yes. There are 3 of them. Sometimes you need a hammer. Stone walls on flames of war bases by cutting up bits of cork and piling them together with superglue. That sounds like it would work pretty well. I've been thinking about doing something like that for my model railway, for like a crumbling stone wall. You can omit the photo etch and call it, damned. Don't get a proper name. Couldn't imagine what that might be called. My model railway is going alright. I'm still painting the track. It's going to take a long time. But I got foam the other day, finally. The hardware has that in again. So instead of paying a minimum order of $200 worth of foam plus $80 minimum shipping, I got them for like $20 a piece. Which is much nicer for my wallet. There's 2 vision devices we need to put on before putting the roof onto the thing, so I'll find them. Sprue MC. MC Hammer. Getting good deals is overrated. You sure about that? I like getting good deals. Still spent like $100 on foam, but that's better than a couple of hundred. I've also got a structure partially completed, and I've ordered some... It's like looks like foam stone retaining walls. So I'm going to be able to start putting some reasonable scenery in place soon-ish. I was actually going to go over and paint the track some more today because it's relatively cool, or it was, but I got too lazy and decided on having a midday nap. Which end of this pops out of the vehicle? One end is more pointy than the other. I'm assuming, though I can't actually tell. Doesn't look like the instructions show the same bit. I'm going to go with the pointy end and not the different shaped end popping out the top. Pointy end inside? I guess I'll just take your word for it. It's probably going to mostly be hidden anyway. Would be nice if the instructions were more... Actually, Maybe it's just so small you can't really see the detail. Whatever. I'm assuming, actually, that the line in the middle is, in fact, the center. That does appear to be the case. It's the bottom of the viewing prism, so it's like a periscope. I guess that makes sense. Do kind of wish they didn't put the sprue gate on the top of the pointy bit. Actually, if that's the inside, it doesn't really matter. Okay. What else do we need? I'll have the rivet counters after me. Oh no! What are they going to do? Count rivets and cry? Box delivery meals. Oh, like, I've never heard of Gusto. I've heard of HelloFresh. A friend of mine was getting... I can't remember what it was. I think it was HelloFresh or something for a while. I think they're reasonably popular. I've never ordered one myself. There's also ones where it's like a frozen meal. My friend was getting those too. They're probably about as popular as anywhere else. Actually, maybe that's something to look at if they're cost competitive with like a supermarket. As in, you don't have to sell organs to afford the food from them. It might be worth looking into. Can't count rivets if there's no rivets to count. So what you're saying is shave off all the rivets. And now, for my next trick. These. Shop at Aldi, it's pretty good. I don't have an Aldi that's close enough to be worth it, considering paying for fuel and such. I can see how this works. There's a little tab on the line here that makes it so you have to put it in the right way. Well, you don't have to, but that you should. So the pointy end goes outward. Counting cutting lines on the armor plating. Weld beads on the seams. Oh man, they're gonna count everything. They might even count the number of track links, and yell at me about that. Though I'm pretty sure I put the correct amount on. They're gonna be real angry when I paint this thing pink. Magna? I haven't had a Magna for a long time. That thing had a 6-cylinder engine. I got rid of that real quick. Welcome back, the big boy. It's pronounced gusto. It's only local to the UK. There's probably some that are local to us, like all sorts of places. There was a... I can't remember what it was called, but there was one that bragged about being like fresh from local markets and farmers and stuff that I'd seen advertisements for. I'm kind of thinking maybe it's a good idea to glue this all in once the tops of the vision devices are in, or the bottoms rather. Okay, now to actually do some gluing again. The glue god will be impressed. I'm trying to not have my thumb over the little tab bit. And now they can look out the sides. Hooray! There is a decision to make if I want the commander's periscope to be sticking out of the little small hatch bit. I don't think I do. Commander doesn't care what's happening outside of the tank. Did you get 98 links per side in the tracks? You'll have to count to find out. I don't have a diesel. I did consider getting a diesel, but it used to be diesel was cheaper to run, but not anymore, so I didn't get one. I think the Mythbusters quote, "I reject your reality and substitute my own," is a pretty good ward against rivet counters. I just think, have a cry about it. Here's a good one. Or scream into the void, or whatever you want to do. I enjoy an accurate model as much as the next person, but I also enjoy building models how I want to build them. And without too much annoyance. I'm going to assume that gap is perfectly fine there. And then I'm going to glue this on. I won't glue the hole on just yet, because I feel like that could be a mistake. Herbert making mistakes? Never. Looks reasonable. Who drank my drink? Was it you? Probably shouldn't refill that. It's almost 11, and I don't need more caffeine. This might be one of the first models where I leave the gun so that it can move. Maybe. It's got like a little overhang along the top there, which I'm not sure is how it should be, but That is how it is. I remember a long time ago when I played EVE Online, I was briefly in an alliance that had a name, something about delicious tears in Latin, like lacrima something or other. I've always found people's tears to be amusing, because I'm a bastard. This model you build is a very accurate representation of an IS-3. Uh-huh. It is. Let's try and get a little bit of glue in there. Otherwise, it'll flex and bend downwards when you press on it. It really is looking more like a Jagdpanzer. I don't feel like I've done a whole lot today, but it is making it look a lot better. I think the pro modeler crowd and the pro gamer crowd have much in common. Both are fine and produce incredible results, but get a few of that guy who find a hill to die on and get obnoxious about it. Yeah, that's pretty much anything, really. There's always got to be somebody who makes whatever thing their entire personality, and also like tribalizes it. So you have to argue with anybody who's of like any other. It's really weird. I don't see why people can't just have fun, damn it. Why won't you have fun? We need hatches and other doodadery for the top now. I don't know what to do with that. What are these? These were meant to go inside the hull, so that's basically an empty sprue. Don't know where to put it. What I need is a bigger desk with less stuff on it to just put sprues. Okay, this has more doodadery for this little hatch. That's fine, I can deal with that. There's a couple of small handles and things. It's kind of hard to tell what is and isn't needed. Most of it is needed. Doesn't seem like an Aussie trait generally. Yeah, war memorial videos, I kind of like doing them, but they take so much effort and barely anybody watches them, so it's not really worth doing. Especially in the summer. And we want this. Wang. And these are bits for you. We need another vision device, I think. Not looking on the right sprue for the vision devices. Got X-ray eyes and X-ray brain. All because of sauerkraut. Farewell, silly. I hope you have fun doing whatever it is you're going to do. King's birthday weekend. Traveling costs money. And I need to save money. I plan to buy a new PC at some point this year. That's probably easily gonna be at least $2,000. Have I got all the bits I need? Not quite. There's what looks to be a small hinge on the D-sprue. This is one that you need to hold on to because it will probably go flying if you don't. And I think the carpet monster's had enough for one day. Hey Panzer IV, how you doing? Haven't ever bought a PC, the phone does it all. I don't like using the phone for anything really, except I guess I use it as a camera and for uploading TikToks. I'm so used to working on a PC that just works how I want it and has enough power for everything. Could sell one Mitig, I assume Magic the Gathering deck to build a PC. I have no idea about Magic. I'd assume to get a Magic deck, the Gathering deck, you would have to pay money. Let's see if I can remove that nubbin without losing the pod. Get removed, Nobbin. Snorter models? Who's snorting models? Also, I don't have any mice anymore. I let them all die. Which is the horrible way of saying I decided I didn't want to keep mice anymore and just didn't replace them or let them breed any further until they died of natural causes. You thought you could hide from me, Nubbin. I will make sure not to brush that small bit away. Who would do that? I've never done that before. No, not me. We don't like paying money here. We prefer borrowing. If I borrowed money to build a PC, I'm sure somebody would either break my legs or put me in jail. I don't want to go there. They pee in a cup and throw it on you. Six PCs in the house. I guess if they're an IT tech, that makes sense. 6 PCs is more than anybody needs for anything except, like, I don't know, if they're into PCs. When do you plan on building the Vespered Lucky Tiger? Probably soon. I'm thinking I'll probably do it on my Monday morning streams. And I'm currently working on the Tamiya Tiger for that. That'll probably take at least the next week. And then I might do something that'll take one stream between that and the Vespered Tiger, but it'll be pretty soon. So I'm anticipating that to take quite a while. And I don't want to have to rush to get it finished to have a video at the appropriate time. Because that is annoying. Those parts are all probably cleaned up now. I wouldn't miss things. Got a call from the Sauerkraut army. They need my help. So Trekan has to leave. Well, I hope it's all good in the Sauerkraut army. I hope there's no combat involved. Thank you for dropping by, Trekan. Do I ever do the group builds? I did once, but I didn't finish because I'm not good at adhering to time constraints. That's one of the main reasons I don't really do group builds, is because I don't like having the time constraints put on me. And every time I try to do something like that, something comes up. Every time. That goes with that. And do we have to build this before putting it on? Looks like we have to put this one together before installing it, or it'll be annoying. And this bit goes on the underside, so is it really necessary? I'll leave that off, just to save myself Probably the same amount of time I spent considering it. Kampfgruppe Erpaderp, von Erpaderp. The most elite force? Probably not. Question is, which way does this face, and does it matter? Does not seem to be keying, and it won't be visible from the outside, as best I can tell, except at the top. So I assume that's mostly for the benefit of people who model that open. If all else fails, consult the instructions. Yeah, but sometimes they don't tell me what I want to know. Sometimes they're written by Johnny Tightlips. That didn't do what I wanted it. I just wanted to give it a gentle twist. Doesn't seem to have the little tab that the other ones did. Oh yes, it does. Ah, piss. I think it might be backwards. That's okay though. Shove that in. Give it a twist. Twist his dick! There's a little bit of mess there now. I'll fix that, probably. Might need a gentle sanding or something at some point. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. Maybe it's spilled porridge the commander has left on his little hatch. I'm assuming there's meant to be a little cover, photo etch cover for that, but there's nowhere for it to really sit into. Maybe it just sort of sits on top of it. That's probably what it is. .48 scale kits figures are but fiddly. They could be more fiddly. I generally don't build the figures anyway. Do I have a Lego collection? I do not, because Lego is expensive. I do have some bits of Lego, but it's mostly just stuff that I bought to make little boxes for casting with resin. Good job, Herbert. This is why I didn't glue that on. Maybe about as elite as a elite Panzer Jaeger battalion circa 1945. Read 20 teenagers on bicycles with 2 Panzerfausts each. That sounds about right, really. That sounds chaotic and ineffective. Okay, I think that's all that needs. We'll need to attach the tiny little handles, but I think it's probably a better idea to do that when the hatches are on the hull. Can't quite tell if this is... It actually does look like that's part of the part. So we'll just plop you on. And ideally I would be videoing it, because I don't want to have to be all like, oh, I forgot to film this and I forgot to film that. I try to avoid that. Building some as... why does... I don't like that heart blocking messages. YouTube. What are you building? I would like to know. Maybe we glue so that the part sticks. Well, that worked. One of these days. It needs a bit more there. That looks like a hatch. I'm glad people actually watch on YouTube. YouTube has finally started not automatically marking my streams as unsuitable for advertisers too, which is nice. I assume people watch them after they're live as well sometimes. And now there's probably much less risk of them just being, like, removed, or me being banned for saying things like fiddlesticks. Which way does this go? There could be no way to tell, but there is a way to tell, and that's by looking at it. Little nubbins for the handle go at the front, like so. Maybe it's neater to glue it from the inside. Maybe it's a good idea to do that in frame of the camera. Just a little bit of glue. Probably needlessly concerned about putting it down like that. That seems strong enough to not get damaged by the weight of the whole top. Too many butt jokes for the average snowflake, it's true. Too many butt jokes and too many chances for me saying cunt. This has a king. And now, tiny little part that could go flying at any second. Hopefully it doesn't. Now, do we do this with no tweezers? What's the worst that could happen? It does have a little bit of play to it, so getting this in before it sets properly is a good idea. That looks pretty good. Of course, if you wanted to model that open with the periscope sticking out, you'd have to attach the little handle first and then model it open. Funny how that works. All the hatches are welded shut on Herbert's tank, so the crew gets futile ideas, so the crew doesn't get futile ideas of running away. Can't run away if you're stuck inside the tank. How do they get food? They don't need food. That looks pretty decent, as the youth say. I think that's all the bits I had cut out. Also, YouTube doesn't understand Australians. It's gotten a lot... It's auto caption, I guess, detecting has gotten a lot better. It used to be hilarious. 5:30 a.m. That is too early. It's almost 11:30 p.m. for me. Also drive an AU Falcon. I don't know anything about AU Falcons other than the memes I've seen on TikTok where people yell about how it's an AU Falcon. But that's all I know. I assume it's very similar to a Commodore in that it's a Bogan favored vehicle. That's looking good. I think I'm going to avoid doing the photo etch tonight and the tiny little handles. Just making sure I haven't missed anything too obvious. It doesn't look like there's actually that much left in the entire build. I might be able to get it done in maybe one stream. But we'll find out next week if that's the case, because I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. It's been a hard day of whatever it is Herbert Erpaderp's do. I guess? Commodore? You mean Dunnydore? Same thing. I drove a Commodore briefly. It was expensive because it had a big engine, a way bigger engine than I needed. But it fit all my band gear, so it worked. Let me see if there's anybody I would like to do a small raid at for the Twitch folks. If you're not on Twitch, you can't come on the raid. But maybe go watch some of my videos or something. Or, I don't know, eat some candy. Wish I could eat candy. Let's go and say hi to Thorlar, because I haven't raided Thorlar for a while, and he is a good egg. I just gotta type. There we go. He's playing Lethal Company. That looks like a fun game. It looks like he's modified it or something, because he's carrying a cat. I'm going to click the button to start the raid. Thank you for watching. I will probably be around in the morning for Railroader. I'm going to either play Railroader or Farm Sim, or I'm going to continue sleeping. We'll find out tomorrow. I don't have anything else to say. So I click this button here and we go on our raid. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.